The camera opens on the vast, dark expanse of the ocean. A massive luxury cruise ship glides silently over the black water, its lights flickering faintly against the night. A low fog hugs the waterline, rolling gently across the deck. The moon peeks through broken clouds, casting pale silver beams onto the ship's polished surface. Passengers board in small clusters, their excited chatter barely audible above the distant creaking of the hull. Among them, Alex Carter, a young journalist, carries a worn leather bag. He glances up at the ship's towering structure, uneasy but curious. A sudden chill brushes across the deck, and Alex pulls his jacket tighter. Somewhere in the distance, a faint, melodic hum resonates, like a lullaby, warped and ethereal. Alex freezes, looking around. No one seems to notice. A steward smiles politely and directs him toward his cabin. The corridors are long and winding, lights dim and uneven. Shadows twist unnaturally along the walls, as though the ship itself breathes. Every step Alex takes echoes unnervingly. Alex steps into the corridor, the hum from earlier still lingering faintly in his ears. He notices that the corridor walls, though polished and clean, seem subtly warped, the lights flickering as if reacting to his presence. The ship feels alive, each creak of the floorboards echoing like a whisper. As he walks toward his cabin, a distant voice calls out softly, "Alex, Alex." The voice is barely audible, ghostly, and it doesn't belong to anyone around. He freezes, glancing at the nearest doors. They are all closed, yet the whisper persists, growing slightly louder. Curiosity overcomes fear, and Alex slowly approaches a side door at the end of the corridor. He knocks gently. No response. He tries the handle. It's unlocked. The cabin is empty, but the air is unnaturally cold. A faint chill brushes across his neck, and the door slams shut behind him with no one touching it. Alex spins around, heart pounding. On the bed lies a small antique music box. It begins to play by itself, a haunting, warped lullaby, the same tune he heard earlier on the deck. He kneels, trembling, and opens it fully. Inside, there's a tiny photograph. The ship, decades old, with a group of passengers staring blankly, their eyes hollow. A figure resembling the shadow he saw under the water in Scene 1 lurks in the background. The lights flicker violently, shadows stretching unnaturally across the walls. The whispering voice grows louder, repeating, "You shouldn't be here." Alex's breathing quickens. He drops the music box and stumbles back toward the corridor. But when he opens the door, the corridor stretches unnaturally longer than before. It's no longer the familiar layout. Panic rises. The ship is shifting, reality bending around him. The clock strikes midnight, and the ship's atmosphere grows heavier. Alex, still shaken from the corridor incident, walks cautiously toward the ship's observation deck, seeking fresh air. The fog is thicker now, curling around the deck rails like spectral fingers. As he peers over the edge into the black waters, the faint reflection of a shadowy figure flashes beneath the surface. Alex blinks. It's gone. A cold wind bites his neck, and he spins around. The deck is empty, yet a low, mournful whisper echoes. "Leave before it's too late." He hears footsteps behind him, quick and soft, but when he turns, no one is there. The ship's intercom crackles suddenly, broadcasting a childlike voice singing a distorted lullaby. The lights along the deck flicker violently, then die completely, plunging Alex into darkness. Panic rising, Alex fumbles for his flashlight, switching it on. The beam cuts through the fog, revealing a figure at the far end of the deck, pale, dripping wet, eyes hollow, staring at him. The figure raises its hand, pointing toward the cabin corridors. The whispers escalate into guttural murmurs, unintelligible yet threatening. He runs toward the nearest cabin, but the deck seems to stretch endlessly. Every step he takes, the figure mirrors, keeping the distance constant. The fog thickens, obscuring everything except the faint glow of the ship's emergency lights. Finally, he reaches his cabin door. Trembling, he fumbles with the key card, but the door won't open. The figure glides silently closer, hovering just beyond the fog. Alex turns, trying another route, and realizes the ship has changed. Corridors and decks have rearranged themselves, impossibly longer and twisted, like a labyrinth. The air is thick with dread. Alex's heartbeat pounds in his ears. Something is hunting him, something that wants him trapped in the ship forever.
Alex stumbles into a lower deck he's never seen before. The air feels heavier here, damp with the sense of seawater and rust. The walls are covered in condensation, and faint echoes of dripping water punctuate the silence. The emergency lights flicker with a weak red glow, illuminating rusted pipes and old machinery. As he moves forward, his footsteps echo hollowly. The deck feels abandoned, too old to be part of the modern ship he boarded earlier. Paint is peeling from the walls, and old signage written in faded letters reads, "Sea Deck, Crew Access Only." But Alex remembers, the staff said this area was sealed off years ago. He hears the faint sound of footsteps again, slower this time, deliberate. They come from behind him. He spins, but the hallway's empty. The lights flicker once, then twice. For a brief moment, a shadowy silhouette appears at the far end, watching him. Alex calls out, "Hello? Who's there?" The voice that replies is distorted, layered, male and female at once. "You shouldn't have come down here." Panic rises. Alex backs away, tripping over a fallen metal pipe. The clatter echoes unnaturally, like metal striking a vast, hollow chamber. Then, from the darkness ahead, faint glimmers appear, reflections on something wet. As Alex approaches cautiously, he sees the floor is slick with seawater seeping through the cracks. And in that water, a hand, pale, lifeless, reaching upward from beneath the deck grates. Alex freezes. The ship creaks violently, the metal groaning like something ancient awakening. Suddenly, the lights flicker out completely, leaving him in blackness. The air hums with a low vibration, and faint whispers rise from every direction, chanting something indecipherable. He turns on his flashlight and sees dozens of wet footprints forming on the floor, coming toward him from the darkness. The basement door creaked as Alex slowly pushed it open. A damp smell of rust, mold, and forgotten time poured out. He hesitated for a moment, then aimed his trembling flashlight down the stairs. "It's just an old house, just an old house." Each step groaned beneath his boots. The beam of light wavered across cracked walls, leaking pipes, and rotting furniture. Somewhere in the distance, a drop of water echoed like a ticking clock. Then his flashlight stopped. A dusty mirror leaned against the wall, reflecting his dim light back at him. He knelt down, brushing dust off a framed photo lying on the ground. It showed a man, a woman, and a little girl, smiling faintly. But the girl's eyes, They were the same ones he had seen upstairs. Alex shaking. "No, it can't be." He blinked, staring closer. And then, the girl in the photograph blinked back. The light flickered violently. He stumbled back, dropping the flashlight. Its beam spun wildly across the concrete floor. From the dark, a child's voice echoed. "You shouldn't have come." Alex froze. His breath hitched. "Who's there?" The silence pressed in tight. Then the voice came again, closer now, right behind him. "You already know." His flashlight sputtered and died. Pitch black. No sound. Only the faint, trembling sound of breathing, not his own. A cold hand touched his shoulder. He turned, but the screen cut to black.
Alex stumbled back from the basement door, his breath ragged. The touch on his shoulder was gone, but the cold remained, wrapping him like invisible fingers. He turned on his phone's flashlight, hands shaking, eyes wide. The house was silent again, but then tap, tap, tap. The sound came from inside the wall. He froze, staring at the wallpaper, a faint, rhythmic knock, like someone trying to communicate. Is someone there? No reply. He pressed his ear to the wall. Static. Then a whisper. A child's voice, muffled by wood and plaster. Voice distorted. "Help me." He jerked back, nearly dropping his phone. He stared at the wall, the old wallpaper now bulging, as though something underneath was moving. "What the hell?" A sharp crack echoed. The wall split slightly. Dust rained down. From inside, the faint outline of tiny fingers pressed outward. He stumbled back, tripping over a chair. His flashlight flickered again, briefly showing shadows shifting behind the wall. Dozens of whispering voices rose together, low, pleading, desperate. Voices overlapping. "Let us out! We're still here!" The lights above him flickered, then shattered, glass raining like crystal rain. He crawled backward, panting, until he hit the front door. It wouldn't open, the lock twisted by itself. He pounded on it, screaming, "Let me out! Who are you?" The whispers stopped. For a single moment, there was silence. Then one voice, right by his ear, calm and soft. "We live here now." His phone's light went out. Darkness swallowed everything. The man's breath came in short, ragged gasps as he backed away from the basement door. The cold from the child's hand lingered, a shiver crawling up his spine. He reached for the nearest light source, a flickering red emergency lamp on the wall. The light buzzed weakly, casting long, trembling shadows across the room. Who are you? What do you want from me?" The silence answered him at first. Then, from the cracked mirror across the room, a faint shape appeared. A ghostly woman, eyes dark and empty, standing just behind his reflection. "You checked in, but you never checked out." He stumbled backward, tripping over a broken chair. Rain lashed against the windows, lightning illuminating the room in stark white flashes. Each flash revealed the woman standing closer, yet only in the mirror, her form absent from the room. No, this can't be real." He reached for the door. The handle twisted violently under his hand, locked on its own.
A sudden gust of wind howled through the corridor, carrying faint, distorted laughter. The red light flickered violently, then went out. The room was swallowed by darkness. The only thing visible, outside, through the rain-streaked glass, the flickering neon sign of the motel, vacancy. It pulsed once, then went dark. He was alone. Or at least, he thought he was.
The man finally sank to the floor, drenched in sweat, his phone dead. The motel was silent, except for the faint drip of water somewhere in the darkness. He thought it was over. He thought the horror had ended. Then, a soft metallic creak echoed from the ceiling above. Lightning flashed outside the window, and for a brief moment he saw hundreds of tiny silhouettes moving behind the frosted glass of the motel walls. Man, whispering, panicked. No, not again. The air grew cold. A shadow passed across the doorway. The same child's hand that had touched him in the basement, now pressing against the frosted glass from the outside. Whisper, echoing, "It's not over. We're still here." Rain pattered harder, mixing with faint, distorted laughter. The neon vacancy sign flickered once more. Then, silence. The camera pans up slowly, revealing the motel roof, where a faint, ghostly figure looks down. A final flash of lightning, and cut to black.